I'm not even trying to play the Switch. I'm trying to update this game. So I want this update to come out.
You're using the latest version of Smash.
And it's still version 2.02.
No joke.
And I haven't got 3.0.
No joke.
No one understands.
I mean, I think
I am a Persona.
No one understands.
I live and breathe Persona. I am a Persona.
When was the last time you played a Persona game?
Persona 5.
When was the last time you played Persona 5?
The last time I played Persona 5? Last week, fam. Come at me. Last week before reset.
Oh, before Tuesday?
Yeah.
How about we don't spike the audio every time we talk about Persona?
Listen, you don't understand.
No, I do.
I am a Persona character.
Also, you're quoting someone else's content, so are you really that original?
I don't have to be original. The fact
this is what I don't find funny about Rise is that he just quotes other people.
Not all the time.
Not all the time. So I have my own original things. You should have heard me that night.
Hashtag content.
You should have heard me that night when I changed my PSN name. I was just screaming dead. Like, see how he's getting annoyed now? Because I was playing competitive.
The king is dead. Long live the OG.
The king is dead. Long live the OG.
Does get a little old after a little while. But
what? No.
Just after a little while.
A little while.
After a couple of times.
Thank you. After 5.
Like 4 or 5.
I'm sorry to both of you that I think I'm freaking hilarious.
Yes, we are as well. You know who else thinks they're funny? Kyle.
Right.
That was a low blow.
That was a name drop right there.
No, it's not a name drop.
That won't make it into the podcast.
Well, it may or may not. We'll find out.
Anyways.
Future Frank's definitely going to edit that out.
Yeah, I don't want to be mean to Kyle.
Future Frank's definitely editing that out.
Future
Frank's probably going to edit all of this out too.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm not going to... Yeah.
See what I mean? See what I mean?
What does that mean?
Well...
Oh, no,
once again, I'm sorry.
Anything.
Once again, I apologize that I think I am hilarious.
Anyways.
Because I'm a hilarious individual.
Anyways, welcome to the Blue Eclipse podcast.
Well,
everybody.
I guess I'm not editing that out now that Tyler did that.
Yeah, welcome. I'm Tyler Spence.
I'm Darius Crosley.
I'm Frank. I get my own camera because this is all my stuff.
He's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's so cool.
You guys paid for that camera. No, you paid for that camera.
Little does he know, we are the boys out here.
I can't wait to pay for the gaming table.
Right.
Yeah, no, we're gonna get like a actual gaming table that has like a
cup holders, like an indent for the actual thing, everything.
No,
felt.
No.
We're about to split that. Boy.
So it's like supposed to be 800, but we have a guy who paid for it already, and he's like, just name me a price, and I'm like, dang it.
Did you name a price yet?
No, I haven't seen him yet. I would have talked to him more about it Monday, but I got a flat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I went to work that
Why
day.
don't you have a spare tire?
I did. That one got broken too.
Double flat.
So the spare I have is significantly smaller than the rest of my tires, so the weight just. Plus, it was like a spare we've had since we had the car in 06, so it's an old spare.
Yikes!
Welcome to Car Talk. No,
Yikes!
Listen, I know just enough to change the essentials in my car. I don't know anything else.
Anyways, so today.
So yeah, welcome. Hi everybody. We are super excited to be here, even though we're going to talk about a topic that needs to be talked about, but considering the amount of views we get right now, only a handful of people are going to listen, so that's cool.
Yeah,
that's fine. I don't really care.
It's an interesting topic.
That's an interesting topic. It is.
It's a much needed one in today's society, unfortunately.
Yeah. So, you lovely 5 people that are listening.
Hi, we love you all.
We love you.
Put your name in the comments so we can call you out.
Yeah.
So one of the I'm sorry, I gotta go ahead and go with this because I've been waiting to vent this out.
Let him introduce the topic first.
So you might have heard this thing going on in a lot of pop culture and stuff like that. When you cancel someone, basically someone, insert famous person here, states a controversial opinion about something or a wrong opinion or something that is deemed morally offensive.
Usually somewhere in their past.
Somewhere in their past years ago.
Years.
And then now you bring in the population that's like, oh, that's a terrible thing. Well, you know what? We cannot support you in any way, shape, or form anymore at all.
Not to mention, it's in some situations where it's, oh, hey, this person is now in a higher position than they once were. Let's find something bad about them from their past.
Let us seek out the Twitter from years ago.
And then,
so that way we can cancel them and ruin their future for something that they said years ago out of ignorance.
This person's directing this movie. Well, did you know in 2009 they said this thing? Oh, guess you got to fire them. It's Yeah.
It's the same thing, and you know what? It's the same thing. I was talking to Tyler about that. First of all, I gotta say this because I haven't gotten a chance. We haven't gotten a chance to do a podcast to where I can say it. Rest in peace, Nipsey.
Yep.
But one of the things I was talking to Tyler about was one of the biggest things is that it be your own people. It be your own
Yes.
people. It be your own people, and
It's usually the fans that go after
saying,
each other. Yeah.
It was what he said. It's always the people who hate you the most, the people from your own city.
exactly. I did say that quote. I did say that quote. It'd be the people that hate you the most be from your own city. But the thing about it is that we've just it's ridiculous. Like even then when we were spoilers. We're filming like 3 of these podcasts. We filmed like most of our podcasts in like
I mean,
one go.
if they're watching, they're going to be able to tell from the
the
fact that
tire.
nothing has changed.
But if you guys saw us when we were arguing about like MCU characters and stuff like that, and just characterizations as a whole, like it got it didn't get toxic to a point, but it was getting a little heated, and I don't think people understand, and I don't think people like just understand that your opinion is valued, but that does not mean that I
It's
have
the only
to.
one.
I
Yeah.
have to agree with you. It is why. It is
Hey,
why a lot of
can you
times
say that again for the people in the back?
like your opinion is valued. Don't get me wrong. Like I say it all the time, especially when I'm arguing with you guys. I'm like, I value your opinion, but this is do I not
This
say
is
it?
mine. Yeah.
But
I will also go on record as saying that not all opinions are valuable.
yeah,
I think-
right,
okay,
but
look,
I think here's
I
the thing,
think
it's the
everyone is
courtesy-
entitled to an opinion, but
Everyone-
some of those opinions aren't.
No,
Demonstrably wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. Opinions are wrong. But we've lost the common decency of like actually being like nice to each other to the point where we can say
Yes.
to the point where we can say, "You're Tyler."
I don't agree with you.
I don't. I hear what you're saying. I agree, and I agree with what you're saying. But on a personal opinion, I disagree with you.
Yeah.
Right, which is why I can say, hey, Iron Man is my favorite Marvel
Can't argue
character.
that.
Keyword
argue that.
Keyword there. My
favorite.
My favorite.
Yeah, we
He
can't
doesn't
argue
have-
that.
Because I can't argue that. Well, I mean,
Now-
I can
now-
put on the table that he might be one of the best Marvel
Yeah, and
characters.
then that is a discussion
And that's a
that
discussion
happens.
that you
Yeah.
can have.
Yes.
And of course, I will make the argument for Iron Man, while someone might make the argument for a different Marvel character, like we
Yeah.
did in that.
So this goes, but we're a little off topic, but also still on topic. So
Yeah.
so you add in this idea that no one's allowed to have an opinion. So then what happens is you find someone who has opinions that you don't like. So I'm going to use James Gunn as a perfect example of this. James Gunn is very, very liberal. He does not make that fact not known. He will constantly talk about how much he does not like conservative views or specifically Trump. And so what happens is when conservatives basically got really mad at Roseanne being fired for saying something stupid, they dug up his history and they're like, look at all these really offensive things he said. Even though he's already, one, commented on them before and said he regrets making those, and two, has since then changed his stance vastly on those opinions. People will bring those up and say, cancel this guy because we don't agree with who he is as a person.
Well,
Or not even
another-
just who he is as a person or his specific viewpoints.
And that's
that's
where
That's where
we
we
get.
get.
That's another whole topic for itself. I think one of the biggest problems I have is with people as a whole today is that we like people wish for other people to fail so
Yeah.
quickly.
Mhm.
Like it's one thing like I'm trying to like word it correctly because this is like this is coming from me as a coach.
No, people want to see the fall just as much as they want to see the rise. They want to
Right.
see someone who they never expected to be super on top, to be like
Like
go from
it's like a
obscurity to
coaching-
one of the biggest people, but then they would also want to see that person crumble.
right.
Yeah.
And it's like it's almost like I was trying to compare it to like me coaching, because me coaching, it's not like me coaching, it's almost as if like seeing somebody fail is like, for me coaching is more like I see it coming, but that doesn't mean I want them to fail. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's
Because your end goal is that they
Get
will
better
get
themselves.
better.
Yeah.
yeah, and I have that in my whole personality, like besides me being like me being like a jerk all the time. Besides me being like a jerk all the time and being an one of the things that I don't wish failure upon anybody.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm getting better. I'm getting like
Failure is not a bad thing, but I understand you don't want them to fail.
yeah, like I don't
But if
wish
they do, they can learn from
like
it.
I don't
Yeah,
wish I don't
gotcha.
I don't wish failure on nobody. That's not something that you that me as a person or as anyone as a person should do. You shouldn't just outright wish somebody to fail. Like
Mhm.
that's messed up. That's just messed up on a whole different level. Like I don't know. I just probably I have like I have like a rare disease called like common human decency disease where like
You care about people.
yeah.
Yeah. Look, I have this thing where I like to make arguments with people just to be on a different side of them
Mhm.
because I feel like right now in our culture we are so trapped in I'm only going to talk to people who I agree with on everything.
Echo chambers is the term
Yep,
you're
echo
looking for.
chambers, bubbles, whatever you want to call it. And that's true for everybody. Fun fact, it is literally true for everybody. Like you can say it's one specific group or another, it's everybody.
Yeah,
The internet has made that much more accessible.
No, like
and so what I do is I will actively go on an opposite point of whatever the person's telling me just so they hear a difference of opinion. So like there was a guy at work who huge Trump supporter. And I would just be like, well, what about this or that or this or that? And then one time he's like, well, I know you're a liberal. So, and I'm like, I'm actually not. I'm actually more central, lean a little, tiny bit liberal. But honestly, if I retake that test, I could lean a little more conservative. And like I told him the viewpoints on his that I agree. And I was like, the only reason I'm doing this is because you sound like a person who, like, because you don't interact with people of different opinions, you then villainize those people.
right.
And that is a bad thing. And then that becomes and that leads to cancel culture of like, let's get rid of this guy because he's one of them.
Yeah.
And that's stupid. And I think that I think people should be entitled to their own opinions, and you should also learn what it means to take opinions you don't agree with and then process that and maybe change your mind a little bit depending on what it is. Tyler and I had a really good conversation after Infinity War on just how we view things. And we both were like, yeah, we're pretty confident this is going to just be us talking. It's not going to be I'm winning this debate. It was just clarifying for both of each other, answering questions, asking questions.
Yeah.
No, and but that's fine. You can have, but
no, that's what I'm saying is we're lacking that in our culture right now.
That's what we're like. It's ridiculous. Like,
well, it's all tied to like a lot of it's tied to politics in the end, and with the way that we see things sort of framed, like debates are never a debate anymore. It's a competition.
It's who's winning.
It's who's winning. And both sides have done multiple things to where
it's more. It's more now. It's now more, hey, how can I make you look like an idiot versus more.
Well, no, it's what I was going to say was both sides have done things to show that whether or not their talking points are good or not, they can prove that they are able to play off of the crowd.
Yes.
Kennedy, no matter what his views were, he just looked on stage better.
So, yeah, that was the whole thing. When Kennedy versus Nixon was the first presidential debate to be televised. Yeah. And so what was interesting is people heard it through the radio and some watched it. And if you ask the people who heard it on the radio, they said Nixon won, which I hate the fact that debates have winners. That's not what a debate is.
We're using the term won as in people were more likely to side with that person.
So Nixon won the debate on radio, but on camera he was sweating just because of the stage lights and this and that. While Kennedy has this posture and grace about himself that everyone's like, oh shoot, that guy. Yeah. That guy he won.
Right.
And that's the thing is like perception can vastly change that. I think like for example, I would make the argument, and some people are going to be mad, that from a policy perspective alone, Trump is not as bad as people think he is from a policy perspective.
Oh no.
So like,
and it's one.
We're not going to get into politics exactly.
No,
but
we're not. I get you, and I don't want to necessarily touch on politics either. But
it's the fact that he's very vocal about certain things, and people don't like that, so they're going to villainize him constantly. Even though certain policies he's done haven't been per se bad or per se good.
Yeah, they've been more. No,
they've been like every other president.
No, they've been. It's just been borderline down the middle, and I think. Yeah. But I think the problem.
It's just. I think that year of the 2016 election is part of the reason we've gotten into this idea of like us versus them.
It
culminated there for sure.
It definitely did that, but it's been, I would argue that it's been getting like he only lit the match and threw it on the gasoline.
Yeah, no, it was already there. It was the spark that started it. Yeah, I agree.
Like he legit lit the match and threw it on there. It was like, and like kind of how like the reference I make when I talk to people about like what happened when Trump took presidency was, you remember the scene in Dark Knight Rises where
Bane.
No,
that's Bane.
That's Dark Knight Rises. The Dark Knight.
Yeah,
you remember the Dark Knight with the Joker, and when he just legit sees all that money and he just legit burns it.
Yep.
That him burning the money and saying "let it burn" was the moment. What happened to society the moment Trump became presidency? At that moment,
we already reached that point. It was just we needed an ignition. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like at that moment we were the money, and he was Joker, and he legit just lit the flame and was like, "All right, cool, let's start it."
I'd be careful to state whether he is Joker or not, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
No, but but for the analogies, you understand.
I get what you're saying.
But
so anyway, Tyler, you have any
you have
more to add on just cancel culture / the fact that people can't share opinions of different varieties? Now
I can talk. Cool.
So, I told you I was going to go on the tangent in a little bit right here.
No, I mean you both did, but that's not the point. Point is that in terms of cancel culture and politics and whatever else, I wouldn't even necessarily politics were the cause of cancel culture. I think cancel culture came around as a result of, like you said, just regular human nature. Yeah. I don't even think politics really had that much more of an influence, because really,
I just think it's the spark that started.
Because really, cancel culture, especially when it comes to, for example, in like music we listen to, there have been a lot of artists recently that have been canceled. Cardi B, Kodak, for some of the stuff, which
surprisingly not Chris Brown.
No, they have definitely there's a certain, but I will argue there's a certain level of controversy. It's why there's like this certain gray line, and you have to understand in some aspects and in some situations you have to understand the genre of the music. Hip hop was created by thugs and gangsters. So when Cardi comes out and it comes out to be, I drugged and robbed people. I drugged and robbed people. That's not a common thing. You have dudes that go on there rapping about killing people all the time. Yeah. That's a standard thing in rap. Yep. Don't like, so you can't.
It's a part of the culture of the music.
But I think here's what I think just quick, and then we'll go back to what Tyler was saying. I think the only reason people are mad about that is because they don't mind hearing it in the music because they think it's fake.
Right.
And then they find out it's real, and they're like, "Whoa, we don't want that. We want the illusion."
I'm going to counter.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Go back to that.
So the problem with that is that when people started originally making this music, it wasn't fake.
No, I know.
And the only people right now I'm saying this as a generalization.
Yeah.
And I don't mean this entirely. The only people who are upset with artists doing things that they say that they might have done in their songs are white people. I'm serious.
It's the people taken out of the culture.
It's the people who aren't a part of the culture.
Yeah, and they don't have to fight for it.
Because
I agree.
Because trap music is the pop genre right now.
Yeah,
it is the popular music right now.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
I agree with that.
Hip hop has definitely gotten more streamlined, has gotten definitely more popular to where you could say hip hop is a new pop.
But and what I'm trying to say is that what happens is now that people are listening to that, they're so used to other cultures of music. Not every single thing that's said in a song is something that actually happened. Whereas
it's exaggerated.
Yeah, and exactly. And the other issue is too is you also have a lot of rappers who don't do anything close to any of the stuff that they said they've done in their songs. But the problem is where this genre started. They were doing those things.
Yeah,
this was not just. This was just.
I mean, that's why Tupac and Biggie unfortunately passed.
Yeah, exactly, and it's why it's okay.
Sir, wait, pause for a second, because he said Tupac. I'm sorry, sir. Tupac is still alive.
Let's not talk about this. Anyways, back on topic. So, in regards to things like, for example, when we're talking about what people do in their music and stuff like that, and in terms of canceled culture, like for example, saying reason why people want to cancel Cardi for doing the things that she did.
Yeah.
You have to if you're going to do it, you need to do it to everybody.
And I don't condone what Cardi did.
Right.
No one is going around saying, "Oh, it's great that she drugged." Like maybe some like extreme on the feminist side, maybe might say that's a good
Some
thing.
have.
Like extreme, but like if we're talking like normal thinking space here, no, it's no one's okay to drug and rob people.
Also, just a quick tangent on Cardi B. Some people have her in that thing itself. She kind of contradicts herself constantly back and forth. So some people aren't even sure if that's what happened. But anyway,
but just saying. But what I believe he's trying to say is like.
I mean, I could just say it.
You could go ahead and take. You could go ahead and say it.
You know, is that people find this stuff offensive, and now that trap has started to become it has been the popular genre of music now. It is what the majority of people, if you throw on a radio station that a lot of, just a popular hits, like a good, I would say probably 60 to 70% of the songs have either trap music or they have elements of trap music in them. Yeah. And the issue is that now that so many more people are being brought into it, that's why so many more people are trying to cancel. Yeah, but because now so many more people are aware of the things being said in this music. And you have a lot of people who have not liked rap music for a long time because of the subject matter and everything else, right? Like I don't listen to the type of music that I do because I'm trying to emulate feeling a certain way. It's because sonically and a lot of the time lyrically, because of the stuff I listen to, I enjoyed that music. Like I don't find country music to be interesting. I don't find most pop, there's some really good pop music out there. Don't get me wrong. This stuff's catchy. That
there's some good, there are some good country.
I'm not saying there isn't, but I'm saying for me in general, I can listen to a lot more trap music and find it enjoyable than I can country music or pop music or rock music or metal or any of that. And so the issue with things like for Cardi B, her getting canceled is a result of more people learning about the culture, and then she's going and saying these things.
But I think this goes back to the James Gunn thing too, because she did that and said it and no one batted an eye. And then now years later that she's famous, people went back, found it, and then brought it back to light.
And not only that.
That seems to be the big issue. It's not that like when someone like Roseanne says, by the way, black people blank, it's like, oh, she said that right now, today's standards. Yeah. So that's how she thinks right now versus some of these things are like people could have changed. Yeah. They could have grown and they could regret their things.
Cardi's had kids and has actually, had a lot go on in her life.
Well, into that end, I think that is just I think that is where the disconnect begins. I think that's where the disconnect begins in our society in the sense where
do people change or not, second chances, all of that. Yeah, and I think that's a problem. I believe second chances are a huge thing. Morally speaking, it's why a lot of my friends think because you guys know the jerk version of me. You guys don't know the other the more other side, friendly conversating person of me, where I'm very super friendly and not a jerk all the time. I've seen that. I want to say I've seen that.
But on a morally speaking side, a lot of people think I should think I'm a lot of people think that talking first initially meeting me, I look my age, but when talking to me, I seem older than what I seem older than what I really am, in the sense where my morals and some of the alignments, some of the actions I take are not the actions of what someone my age today.
Are you getting into what this has to do with?
Because once again, going back to the whole standpoint of whether people can change or not, it's because of it's that whole generational divide. You understand what I'm saying? We don't
we're millennials. I don't know what generational divide you're talking about, but we are all classified as millennials.
It's true. None of us were born after 2000. That's the next generation. Yep. Which every single person in high school is born after the year 2000.
So here's the thing.
It's so weird.
Right. If we're talking about whether people have second chances or not, I agree that yes, they can change. Now the issue is that people abuse that idea.
Oh yeah, no. Chris Brown is the biggest.
Chris Brown is a good example. There's also a tattoo artist recently who's had some allegations of basically pedophilia, and he tried to say that 2 or 3 years ago I was in a different mind state and things like that instead of actually.
And then there's also certain things I think
are some things forgivable or not.
Yes, that's not only that, but you have to prove that you've changed. You have to prove, and you have to say.
So if Chris Brown would be like, hey, I've given money to abusive victims.
Here's the problem. I don't know why Chris Brown still has a career.
I don't either.
Just like I didn't.
Don't.
It's just like so. Okay,
Like it's
so,
just like how we understand. Just like how we don't understand how R. Kelly didn't have a career.
Exactly. That's
Yes.
exactly who I was going to bring up next. So, for example, you know,
He has not changed. In fact, he's gotten worse.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm canceling R. Kelly. I'm saying R. Kelly is not getting anything from me. It's not. It's not so much a canceled. Like I'm just.
I was
not
saying
gonna
there's
do
this
your stuff
unfortunate.
anymore.
There is this unfortunate line of like, there are some people who we should not allow to make money.
Yeah.
And they should probably be put in like jail and
or something
like,
close to it. Yeah.
and then there's the difference of like James Gunn said something really stupid or like
On
this
social
person
media.
did
Why I
this
said-
thing and has changed and no longer does that.
Which is why I said our whole our whole moral views have just literally just been flipped upside down and messed up because the small things like someone saying like the small things like someone saying something really stupid is getting more limelight than the actions of somebody else has actually been taken.
Yeah.
The problem isn't necessarily with hate speech or hate culture or cancel culture or anything like that. It's the fact that legitimately that our morals have been so skewed.
I would actually argue that it's not so much to do with morals as it is that people have now that it's so easy for you to state your opinion on certain things, people just are more actively going against someone who doesn't have the same opinion on them as things that could really affect their life. So
I think,
for example,
I think
like
they'd rather go after the smaller things than address these huge issues that
Exactly.
should be addressed. I
Exactly.
think that's also the issue.
and it's and why, but why do that? It's like
because it's
like
easier.
I think
Because it's
I think
easier.
the best way I can put it
And
is there's this meme from Gumball from the Amazing World of Gumball where he discovers the internet and he discovers the internet and he plugs himself up into the internet and he essentially just basically uses his like moral standpoint to just legit bash everyone, like almost like a social justice warrior.
Yeah.
And he legit bashes everyone, and there's just one person that comes up and is like, why? That's like why?
What's the point of that? Yeah.
They're like why?
So here's the thing: is the reason why people go out of their way to cancel culture and everything else is because either A, they find something offensive to them personally. Like sometimes it's not just about the politics. Sometimes literally whatever the action is might seem offensive to them.
Calls
so for
someone.
Example,
Oh no!
So for example, like when we're talking about Kodak Black and the stuff that he said about
Nipsey.
No, not about Nipsey, but yes, about Nipsey, about what he said about Nipsey's wife.
Yeah.
And also what stuff he said about Remy Ma and things like that. Like there are people who are genuinely offended by that.
Yeah.
And you have to, you have to come out of the woodwork and be like, okay, look,
Is
Kodak,
this a justified offense?
exactly. Because
Or am I
Kodak,
just upset?
Kodak's been an idiot for a long time.
So here's for some context for you, because I know you don't follow this stuff too much.
Shocker.
Remy Ma, I believe she is trans. I can't remember for sure.
LGBT.
At least
Just say LGBT.
I think she might be bisexual.
I think she's either lesbian or bisexual.
Got it.
She's not straight.
Okay.
I know that much.
Let me guess. And he's called.
And he said some things like, "Oh, stuff I would do to you," and things like that.
And some people took offense to that.
People took a lot of offense to that,
okay.
especially her, because it's one of the, and you have to come out of the woodwork and be like, all right, so there's this thing going around in male culture where you have to show off and be bragganistic, and not only that, but you have to try and obtain things that you don't think you can get, and that's the way he looked at it, was a challenge.
Because she's not attracted to him.
exactly.
And to that stand, ugh. That's
So-
all.
so-
That's all.
and that's what, and see, that's what I'm
saying.
saying. But what I'm saying is that's the other part of the cancel culture. Is not just I disagree with you politically. It's you really did say some offensive stuff, and
So
I'm not okay.
and
with
I
that.
get that. Like so what's interesting is I think people who can say their words very well, like come across their opinion very well. So Ben Shapiro is one of those where he can like state, hey, this is how I feel about LGBT. I might not agree with you on this stance. Here's how I feel. The way he spells it out is not offensive.
Yeah, it's not. It's not.
It's not.
You might be butthurt.
Some people are going to be.
You might
not get too much into it. Yeah, I don't agree with it. Ben Shapiro or a.
But he doesn't say it in an offensive way.
Yeah, he doesn't.
He's
He
not
doesn't say it in an offensive
way.
You might be You might be butt sore in the end, but at the end of the day. But
you might not agree with his opinion, but he's not saying it in a damaging way. He's saying what he feels.
Yeah, he's
versus someone else who would be like, all LGBT need to die.
And
that is something that's
and
like
I think
an
another thing.
offensive
I think
statement.
another thing is that
I think he does say offensive things though.
No,
Yes.
no,
I can agree
he
with that.
doesn't.
He has gone,
He is not 100% fact. You can't say that trans people aren't what gender they are. Like there is no
We can get into that, but that's a different topic.
I can get into it after this topic. We can have a long discussion about that. But yeah,
can.
anyways.
We can.
Oh yeah.
No, he's wrong on that part, and I'll say that much now.
Okay. To that, I'm not even gonna. I'm not touching nowhere near that. So
It's okay.
I'm
It's
not
okay.
touching nowhere near that. But one of the things I was gonna say was that another thing that's a problem is that we don't know how to word things properly.
Yeah.
Well, it's the fact that the internet makes it easy to just say something.
And I was actually about to bring up the point that one of the other biggest factors of cancel culture is that it's also
It's
really
immediate.
good. It's a really good way to
Misinterpret something.
no. It's a really good way to justify whatever echo chamber you're inside of when everyone else agrees with you and gives you those likes and clicks and
Like,
comments on whatever thing that whatever your hot take was that you put up.
Right.
Because it's so easy to see what someone's opinion is on something now. You literally, like, to however many friends you have on Facebook, which for some people it's like thousands or whatever, you can literally just go on there and be like,
This is my opinion.
gay people shouldn't live. And you will get so much,
If you're in the right group.
if you're in the right groups, you'll either get validation or whatever. Other people will come to it. But the thing is you get attention.
Right. We
And
have
some
such
people-
a attention graph.
And some people say, like I like to think that, there's some politicians and some policies and things that people do. They're not doing it because they actually believe it, but because they know that that's what's going.
Oh yeah, that's what's going to get them elected.
Whatever.
later.
They're not even just elected, but the most amount of
Rotation.
generation of talking and things bringing it up.
Yeah.
Going back to
Which is sad.
and going back to what I was going to say about talking is that one of my greatest role models, and not because he became the first black president, is Barack Obama. Not because, and once again, it's not because he became the first black president. It's because he knew how to articulate and talk.
Yes.
He knew how to articulate and talk. If he's gonna sit there, if he's gonna talk to you and have an actual debate with you, he will take the time to actually listen and hear out what you have to say.
Yeah.
And even if it's a very long pause, and he has to sit there and collect his thoughts, which I need to work on a lot because I legit just spew things off at the top of my head. I hate you both.
But no, I think it's the point of like right now we're in a just say what's immediately on your mind, and I think the problem is we have this understanding that if you are the last person to talk, if you are the one who says the mic drop statement,
So here's the problem.
you have to be able to immediately react to what someone else says.
So yeah, and what the issue is it's actually that point ties into politics because it's actually essentially
a broke culture.
No. What I'm saying is that in the conservative playbook, like what they do is they're never on the defensive.
Right.
They will say, like, for a lot of conservatives, they will say short, quippy statements. Maybe they're not entirely true, but they stick out in your mind. And when whoever is on the other side of that argument has to explain or take longer to talk, they'll just bring out another short, quippy statement. And guess what? In the end, to the mass amount of people who might not be, that's the thing they're going to remember. And that's the thing that's going to stick with them. And eventually you listen to that enough.
Yeah.
Well, but then the liberals also,
opinion.
you were also saying the liberals have their own version where it's just demeaning the person they're talking about.
Well, yeah, liberals like to have this fantasy that
they're morally superior.
Yeah, they're just going to dunk on someone, and that's what everyone wants
so
to see.
So you have the right who's just saying quick, fast statements to knock you down. It's basically boxing. You have the short bursts over a long period of time or one knockout punch.
Right.
And it's like both are really bad forms of talking.
It'd be
the equivalent of like having a conversation and the person's fighting you.
But I'm not saying that a liberal
we're not saying
explain their point or whatever is just
and I want to make that really clear really quick. We probably should have made this clear from the get-go.
It's fine.
We understand not all people are the same. Like
even you middle people are wrong sometimes, which is me.
Understand.
Hi.
We understand that not all
centrists
people
are weird.
We understand that not all people are the same. We understand that there are vast majority of people that are very different with a lot of different set of morals and stuff like that. Yep. We're at no way, shape, or form coming at anyone at all. We are simply
except
Chris Brown, R. Kelly.
Yeah, except for people that
don't diddle children, don't abuse people.
Yeah,
cool. Death to capitalism.
Respect human beings.
Respect the capitalism.
Death to capitalism.
Death to capitalism.
Oh, okay.
But But,
It's yeah. I think one of the big things I always want, like some people will purposely find others who do not have their point of view and make them friends, and I think that's a huge thing, and I think that's an important thing, and I think because that makes you have
Wait a
to
minute.
sympathize with
Hold
people.
on. Wait a second.
Yeah,
Frank,
I'm hearing you out.
are you
Mhm.
are you pointing out our friendship right now?
Tyler.
Frank.
Yes. But I also didn't go out. We happened to be friends, and then it was like, oh, we don't have the same
And
viewpoints.
then we
instead
realized
of
that we don't share like very many, if
we
almost
don't.
any same.
I think
same
even like when it
viewpoints.
comes to the things we like them vastly different
Differently.
reasons.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but like we're friends. I have a friend
I'm kinda-
at my church
I'm
who
kinda the
I
middle
would.
ground.
I have a friend at my church who I straight up said I would not normally be your friend, but like I respect and love you enough that I want to be your friend. And I think that's the thing. Is
I'm
like
kind of the middle ground between the both of you. I can agree with him sometimes. I can agree with you sometimes.
It's true. One of us is always right. One of us is always wrong. Which one is it? Direct.
I don't know what you're talking.
It's me. I'm always right.
That's what the wrong person would say. But no,
Anyways.
I think it is ultimately. I think having diverse opinions is not a bad thing.
No, opinion.
Now you got to be smart enough
opinions
to also then not focus only on the issues and like be like, well, we can only talk about this. So
Yeah, well, and I think that's also. It's just. I think that's also a problem. I think,
That's a whole lot.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
yeah,
that's
we're
okay.
already
I think we're
already
good.
at like 35 minutes,
no, listen,
man.
we should just do an hour and then just chop this up
No,
into
it's
No.
okay. We're
parts.
good. We're
You're
good.
not the one who has to edit this.
Yeah,
I understand. I'm
exactly.
not the one that has to edit this, but I'm saying we could probably chop this down to 4
So
parts. If
this
you
has been the Blue
Oh,
Eclipse
good.
podcast about some cancel culture, slightly politically charged talking.
So listen to other people's opinions.
Yeah,
and then not get immediately mad about it.
Don't watch Fox News.
Tyler, yeah.
I mean, no, I'm saying like don't just watch Fox
Or
News,
ju-
like,
or just CNN or
or
any
just
of that.
CNN or
Yeah.
MN
guys,
or
do me a
MSNBC.
favor.
You know,
Do me a favor. Go out there and go read things. Do your own research.
Read some-
read
some-
multiple articles, please, because
some-
one article's never enough.
read some philosophers too while you're at it.
Yeah, sure, why not?
You know,
I feel like we're talking.
get some
I
get
feel
some
like we're talking
nihilism in
this-
here, some Nietzsche. You know,
Yeah, you already know.
Oh,
Get
yeah,
some-
'cause he
get
was
some Socrates.
because he's super
Perfect.
great.
Get
Yeah,
some Socrates in here, bro.
He knew
totally
exactly
perfect.
what he was
Get
talking
some
about.
Totally
Socrates in
perfect.
here.
Yep.
Nihilism.
Anyways, Blue Eclipse podcast.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Tyler Spence,
I'm Darius Crosley.
I'm Frank Joseph Hall.
and we will see you all next time, you beautiful people.
All right, guys. Podcast.
We'll
is
see
over.
you all next time, you beautiful people.
Yeah.
All right.